Show me the money. We've got two new movies at the top of the box office. You love to see that.
Yeah.
You love to see the new blood coming in.
I really do.
We got two movies that did well, and we've got our first, really impressive opening of the year. And wouldn't you know it, it's an animated kids movie. DreamWorks' Dog Man brought in $36 million opening weekend. The budget was only $40 million. This is the second biggest January opening for an animated movie ever.
Wow.
After Kung Fu Panda 3, also by DreamWorks.
Yep.
So Universal, who owns DreamWorks Animation,
Yes.
has got to be thrilled. And speaking of thrilled, Warner Brothers, who needed some good news after all this hand-wringing over one battle after another, Warner Brothers has got to be, maybe if not thrilled, at least pleased with how their low-budget horror comedy, seemingly hard-to-market movie Companion did, raking in $9.5 million opening weekend on a $10 million budget.
That's great.
So, Joe, my questions for you are, what do you make of Dog Man's
Yep.
success? What do you make of Companion's successful performance? And are you surprised to see a nice little weekend here in the doldrums of late January, early February?
Well, you know me. I love the movies, so I love a good weekend. Dog Man, big and nice for DreamWorks and Universal, who's the new distributor. The first film in this series, this is a spin-off, Brett, of Captain Underpants, which came out in 2017.
Yes. A very successful book series.
Huge book series. Like, I remember when I was a kid, those came out. They were popular. And my little nephews, they love all the Dave Pilkey books, Dog Man, etc. The Captain Underpants movie did big numbers. It was the last DreamWorks movie distributed by Fox, interestingly enough, before DreamWorks sold to Universal. And that movie did great. It opened with $120 million, or made $120 million or something, whatever. It made a ton of money, right?
Yeah.
So Dog Man didn't make that kind of money, but it did what it needed to do. It covered cost. It's a spin-off. It's not even Captain Underpants 2, and it did this well. Universal just did an amazing job. First of all, owning DreamWorks at Universal, that means they own Illumination, which is, Despicable Me.
The Minions.
And they own DreamWorks.
Yes.
That's healthy
Shrek,
animation.
Kung Fu Panda,
that is
et cetera,
fucking
et cetera.
good.
How to Train Your Dragon.
They did great on this Dog Man thing. They did all the Universal stuff they always do. They did all the smart stuff. A Food Network crossover on the Kids Baking Championship. 250 million social media interactions. They had a book tour. They had 100+ character appearances where Dog Men went to bookstores and libraries across the U.S. and the U.K.
Wow.
I mean,
Good work.
They just did their thing. So,
Yeah.
we know that animated features do well. Pilkey stuff's beloved. Universal knew exactly how to distribute this film, and there you go. Opening weekend, covered cost.
And the
Bang.
message was clear. The message from the marketing campaign was this is the first big animated kids movie of the year. Get ready for it.
Take
they
your
did
kids
some
to this.
really great trailer buys over the holiday break. So everyone was geared up for okay, we just got through the holidays. We don't have to go to the movies for the next 2 weeks. But then Dog Man's the first
They
one we're
did,
going
man.
to.
They
Mark the
adverti-
calendar for Dog Man.
they
That's the first one we're taking the
advertised-
kids to.
They advertised on the dog show. They advertised on NFL football games. They advertised on holiday specials.
Yep.
They knew it. They ran that exact playbook.
Yep. And Dog Man did, like you're saying, have surprising brand loyalty, because I was reading that close to a third of the audience that was polled said they came because they knew the books and they love the franchise. So close to a third. That's pretty good brand loyalty. And then,
great.
45% just said because it looked fun and entertaining and it was something to take the kids to. And that's how these kids' movies rake in the dough, baby. So Dog Man played the playbook well, and it only cost $40 million. So it's looking at a nice box office return.
And then the second film that we have here, Companion,
Yes.
is another great price point. A $10 million horror movie that made $10 million opening weekend. That's the only thing better is a fucking smash hit. That's heaven on earth. Why did this movie do so well? Well, first of all, it got great reviews, which is important for box office success. Whether
Very
or not we
important.
agree is immaterial. It got great reviews, and that drove box office. It did have an interesting marketing thing where they sort of breadcrumbed some of the plot elements that sort of hooked people right at the right times to go out for the film. And I saw that poll was taken, and 26% of the audience saw it specifically
I saw
for
this.
Sophie Thatcher.
For Sophie Thatcher, yes.
Sophie, horror, it girl, question mark. 25% of the audience coming out this weekend just to see Sophie do her thing in the horror movie.
That's Yellow Jackets, baby. That's
right.
That's Yellow Jackets fans. Sophie Thatcher's got a fan base, and I did the math on this, Joe. Based on what the movie brought in, $9.5 million. If 26% of the people were going to see Sophie Thatcher, that means your movie made $2.47 million opening weekend just because Sophie Thatcher was in it. And I hope Sophie's agents and lawyers are doing that math too, and they take it into the next contract
She's a star.
negotiations, because she's putting butts butts in seats, baby. That's a star in the making.
She's a star. Sorry, she's a star. And then the final thing is just good release timing. Like, no other horror movies came out this weekend, and horror does really well. And it looked like a horror movie that was going to do well. It had that glossy, post A24-ish sort of horror, elevated horror thing going on.
I actually wonder, Joe, if they should have put more into marketing, because the marketing campaign was nice. The poster was very interesting. The trailer was good. But they lightly marketed the movie, whereas if you look at, like, right now, The Monkey, Osgood Perkins' follow-up to Longlegs, and it's doing a similar marketing campaign as Longlegs, it's going hard into this, like, sort of viral, aggressive, like, this is going to be the most mind-blowing horror thing you've ever seen.
Tons of
right?
marketing.
And The Monkey right now is projecting at 15 to 20 million opening weekend, and that's from a much smaller studio. I mean, this is Warner Brothers put out Companion, and The Monkey's being put out by Neon, an indie studio. So I'm wondering if Warner Brothers, if these major studios start to follow the lead of some of these indie distributors in terms of how their horror movies are being marketed, and lean a little bit more, not even spend more, but just lean more into a strategy, into a sort of viral strategy, a kind of hype it up strategy.
Yeah.
If they could even, get a little more out of a movie like Companion opening weekend, a little more than 9.5 million, which is very good, but I feel like there was maybe a little left in the tank that they left.
I wonder if there's like a cost benefit analysis where they're like, we could put 6 million more into this and we would only get, X amount of returns. I wonder if there's some sort of calculus. That being said, the subsidiaries that distribute this in the in the WB world could have been more forward thinking with some of their marketing stuff. Although I bet if they were standing right in front of us, they'd be like, we did all the best practices and it made its money back. Fuck you.
That's it. Is they're not going to get creative with a movie like this and only
Right.
cost $10 million. I was reading that Warner Brothers' only goal with a $10 million movie is to get into profit.
As
and
it
once
should
they
be.
get there, they're fine.
Think
They're
about
not
our
trying to do
smaller
like a
shows.
high risk, high reward strategy in order to like get a surprise sleeper hit. They just want to see these $10 million movies hit profit, and they're going to move on and focus on the big picture, big picture
And
movies.
let's pretend it dramatically outperformed even what it already. Let's say it did $18 million. Well, then next time Drew is making a movie, they'll give him the Osgood Perkins treatment.
Yeah.
Neon's doubling down because Longlegs was like one of the top 3 most impressive box office returns of last year.
Right.
So Neon's like, well, we're not dumb. We're going to like push
the
the
same
fucking
thing.
shit out
Do
of
the
the
playbook
monkey
again.
Yeah, which has a great trailer.
It does. It has a very good trailer.
It really does.
Yeah.
I think I think James Wan might have showed Osgood just how to lighten up a little bit. Might have given him a little sense of humor. Kind of said, it's okay, buddy. You're doing a really good job. Pat on the back. Have a little fun with it. I wonder if James Wan's going to help Osgood unlock himself.
I thought you were maybe suggesting that he's doing a little like, how Steven Spielberg used to be sort of shadow director on some projects.
Oh,
Do
no,
you think
I'm not-
James Wan got in
no,
there and
no,
got in there and moved
no.
the camera around a little
What
bit?
I choose to believe is that James Wan is an excellent producer and collaborator
Yes.
that helped Osgood
Yeah.
figure out what was best with his stuff and what to leave behind on
And
the
look,
long
we'll
legs
see. We'll
cutting
see with the
table.
monkey. We'll see what happens.
I'm excited.
We'll see what happens.
I'm
But
excited. Arrest me. I know. I gave Osgood shit because he seems like a director, aka he has an ego like every director.
Well, look,
I can't wait for the monkey.
No. And also, it's fair to say that the hype has outrun the body of work up to this point. But he is very good at generating the hype, and I'm on board for the monkey.
Yeah.